Okay. And we're live. What's going on, you guys? This is Dimension Scott back with you with another live stream, and welcome back to my very good friend and guest. We have Ray Lee's Movies. Ray, you want to tell
Hello.
everybody about you? Tell about yourself, your channel?
Uh, yes, well, Rayleigh's Movies is my channel, all based on my collecting habits for my movie collection. And I do some movie reviews, some gameplays, things like that. I'm really into video games, movies, reading, storytelling in general. So that's pretty much me.
Very good. That's really nice to hear. Love to hear that. And if you guys know that you guys follow me, I do pretty much the same thing. I've been streaming video games as well, Tekken, Resident Evil, and I'm planning to stream a lot more pretty soon. And we have some people that have already appeared in the chat. We have Collector Movie Man. Can't wait to check this out. And Adrian James as well. He pops in a lot of my live streams. So, Ray, do you want to recap anything from season one from almost 2 years ago?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm also familiar with the book, Fire and Blood. And it was pretty accurate to what happened in the show. The show also clarified a few things that the books didn't. How the whole Civil War was actually started by an accident. We had Aemond Targaryen accidentally kill his nephew, Luke, when they lost control of their dragons, and ended up with Luke and his dragon getting eaten. And there was also the mistake in what the series talked about with Aegon's prophecy, and Alicent thinking Aegon in that prophecy meant her son, which also started her movement against Rhaenyra. So I think that's really only the important things leading up into this was that the Civil War started, and yeah, pretty much. I can't think of anything that's really too important other than who's taking whose side. Like the Sea Snake is on Team Black. Aegon did steal the throne. He's calling himself a king now. Yeah, I think that's about it. All that's important anyway.
Mm-hmm. Okay, as for me, I did go back and watch season one in order to get ready for this and refresh my head with a lot of things, and definitely really good. So I'm so happy to be back into doing this with you after 2 years,
Yeah.
almost 2 years ago, almost two
Yeah.
years. So, mhm. And if you haven't heard yet, the show has already been greenlit for season three as we're doing this. That was announced on Father's Day, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see like the finale of this book on screen. Like it's going to be amazing. Very sad ending though if you know what happens.
And we got Jared Runner here saying howdy. He was
Hello,
a
Jared.
he was a guest on my channel before. We did a watch along for James Gunn's Suicide Squad almost a year ago. And if you guys are watching, if you enjoyed these reactions, be sure to like and subscribe for more. And be sure to go to subscribe to Ray's channel as well. Everything's in the description below. So, Ray, are you ready to start up this episode?
I am.
Okay.
Now it is going to bring up a recap. Are we going to be watching this recap? Because I did rewatch season 1 too.
You rewatched season one as well?
Yes, I did.
Very good.
Yeah, so I don't know if we would really need the recap. We might be able to skip that.
Okay. So on my count, play at the same time. And if you see the option to skip recap, you go ahead and press yours, and I'll press mine as well.
Okay.
So on my count, 1, 2, 3, and play.
Let's see.
Sarah's Targaryen, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms.
All right, so I got that recap skipped.
Thanks, Commander Nerd. Have a great stream. Have a great stream, guys. House of Dragons off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, I heard that from Mark.
Duty is sacrifice. It eclipses all things. It eclipses all things. Even blood. All men of honor must pay its price. The North owes a great duty to the Seven Kingdoms, one older than any oath. Since the days of the first men, we have stood as guardians against the cold and the dark. Through its long tradition, the Night's Watch cultivated its strength from doomed men who had their life as their only possession. But my ancestor, Torrin Stark, began a tradition by making an offering at the onset of winter. 1 in 10 men from our household was to be chosen to fortify the watch. This is not a sentence, but an honour, a duty embraced by all who serve the North, even by mine own kin. The North must stand ready.
First episode was great. Hope you guys enjoyed this first time. Season 2. Thank you.
Yeah, this would be our first time.
In winter, will cover all industry, cover all industry. Think that over a century ago, our ancestors conquer the king of the north. Years have been mercy not to threaten the side.
Thank you.
What is a great horror in the dark? Unless we believe the consequences of evil. Now threatened. The realm will soon tear itself apart. Many of remember the oaths sworn in the chaos, and to his rightful heir. Darks do not forget their oaths. But you must know that my days are return itself. In winter, my duty falls even more time when I was to catch the moment. Although men die for the Father and weather. The high tide of man to usurp the throne. My mother is to defend her claim to hold the Roman mountain. She needs an army. War is
I'll be
won.
happy to join any watch-alongs in the near future. Yep.
You cannot wage it without the security.
Yeah, actually, we would be happy to have you. I have a very strict schedule, though, so it's one of the reasons why Scott and I can only do it on Tuesdays.
What does it keep out? I have thousands of grave readings. We've already seen 2 names. They are well, so they're all ready for so much. Your grandkids can fight. Your grandkids can fight. The queen will have to fight hard. Like others. There's your news for Frankenstein.
Take your mount again. We're flying out.
I alone patrol over 100 miles of open sea endlessly to hold the blockade. Mulis must gorge and rest, as must I.
We're going to keep landing.
To what end?
Killing Baker. I can't face that hoary old bitch in the dragon who wants to kill them. You can kill Baker with no rider. Son for a son.
Was this the Queen's command?
The Queen remains absent. I should bid Harrenhal bend in knee, but I must instead remain here to wage her war.
Or perhaps more simply, to await her return.
She's been gone for days. Too long. She is exposed.
She is grieving.
The mother grieves as the Queen shirks her duties.
It was a raven that brought me news of Lena's death. I existed for weeks in torment, refusing to believe what I'd been told. It was only when I saw my daughter's mortal remains that I could begin to mourn her. A raven has told Rhaenyra that her son is dead. Seems to know it concerted.
She was a fool's mother. What if Aemon would happen upon her?
And I pity him. The Queen was wise to accuse her son. She has not acted on the vengeful impulse that others might.
If you'd have acted when you had the chance, Aegon's line would be extinguished. And he would be alive. Lie with me. It is a command.
Would that you were the king.
Wow, look who it is.
Yeah. She looks distraught. And also,
What was that?
and also, Have you heard what Damon said? Damon said son for a son. And Rhaenys asked, does Rhaenyra know about this? And then he basically just kind of like avoided it. I guess that could symbolize that Rhaenyra did not know about blood and cheese. Yeah. Because that was never clarified in the book if she knew.
She was able to return from the stepstones at all.
I see.
Yeah.
Barely done, but done. 7 more ships put out to sea this morning to fortify the blockade. The Gulf is fast, and we're not like to have the numbers to cover all that open water.
I must have my ship back at sea to lead the other.
It'll be many weeks yet. Roger. But I'll have a word with my brother. See what reinforcements the shipwrights can muster. Smithy delivered this earlier. Hello?
I had this commission for Prince Lucerys.
I'm sorry to hear that your heir's death is the blackest of treacheries. I'm the Lord. It will please you. Much to do.
Two people in the chat. Adrian James came back in to say hello. And Eric Thorpe Reviews. Is this your guys' first time watching the episode? Right?
Yep. Yes, it is.
Yep. In case you don't remember, me and Ray did season 1 over a year or two ago, and we are back. I feel bad for asking questions doing. That's okay.
No, don't worry about it. Ask all the questions you want.
Ask anything. Hello.
Where is your Harris?
Attending his lessons.
There's
Blood and cheese. That's going to be the next episode.
You must be a huge fan.
Yeah, that's going to be the next episode. I can't wait for that.
You think we'll kick off more action?
Yeah, Blood and Cheese was a very, very sad and devastating event in the book. So, can't wait to see how that works on the show. a little bit of a hypocrite, Allison. So that's very interesting. Because in the book, I don't recall them ever finding Lucerys' body.
Kingdoms and protector of the realm.
Not that she found. Oh, I was just saying that that was an interesting scene because in the book they never found Lucerys. Even though like Rhaenyra didn't find his body, she found evidence of his death, and that was actually not in the book. So that does kind of clarify that he actually is dead and blows out of the water any possible rumors of him being alive or having survived that fall.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what did you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice scene. It was really nicely done. It's just, yeah, that was interesting that they put that in there because there was no proof that Lucerys like even died because they had like no evidence of it. They just had Aemon's word and the fact that Luke never came back. That Luke just disappeared. So her finding, you know, Lucerys's coat and the dragon wing was a very interesting addition to it. Just kind of does tell us that he did die, and the rumors of him being alive are not true.
If you put out long heard and seek your grace, you'll soon find them all at the foot of your
I haven't seen it that way. The enemy mind Egon into the novelty of real estate.
Orb has a huge question. How do you guys feel about more spin-offs? I love House of the Dragons, but I don't want the Game of Thrones franchise to be diluted by too many projects like what happened with Star Wars and Marvel. Right?
I understand what you mean. And yeah, I do kind of agree. However, there are a few stories from the franchise that I would actually like to see in a show. One being Robert's Rebellion. I'd like to see Robert's Rebellion, and probably Aegon's Conquest. But
What
yeah,
about that? What about that Jon Snow spinoff we were hearing about?
I heard that got canceled. Which, honestly, I think that's a good thing, because I know a lot of people like Game of Thrones, but as a whole, especially towards the end, if you really think about it, they really did ruin the story. Now, if they did sequels, I don't know if I would be interested in seeing any sequels from the Game of Thrones show. Prequels, however, I would be down with, which is why I would enjoy a Robert's Rebellion or Aegon's Conquest. But yeah, I didn't like how Game of Thrones ended, and because it really did mess up the story, I really wouldn't be interested in seeing any more sequels. Like the Jon Snow.
Okay. And this one says, at least not too many at once. The first still from Dunkin' Egg was released. I guess it started shooting.
Yeah, they should finish House of the Dragon before they start any more projects.
I will agree.
Because if they start releasing too many at once, yeah, I can see that making that'll definitely turn people away, because it would just be too much fatigue.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you
You should be leading the van, and I should be flying cover on Vega. No castle would dare to raise Rhaenyra's banner against us. We will bring the whole of the crown lands. But you,
They have to petition the king
I think that's blood and cheese.
privately.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Crosby and
Yep, I think those are the two assassins. Yep. That's really all I have to say. But yeah, I think that's blood and cheese.
I think one day we will get some kind of sequel. You bet that?
Probably.
I didn't mind the ending. You know what? I heard someone say if you watch all those seasons together, it feels somehow more connected.
You and Vega.
I think the reason
Yeah.
why a lot of people were left disappointed because they waited for so long for this last season to premiere.
Oh, I'm sorry. One of the reasons why I didn't like the ending is because it broke over 4 prophecies. That was my issue. It broke the prophecy storyline. But what were you saying? Oh, we might have lost him.
But I'm in the minority too.
Hey, you know what? There's nothing wrong with liking it. You like what you like. No shame.
I will go as far and say maybe if the show continued maybe in 2 more seasons, at least 10 seasons, I don't think it would have ended perfectly.
They probably could have done better if they had more episodes and probably one more season. The only reason why the ending was so rushed is because the creators no longer wanted to do it. They were hired by Disney to do the next Star Wars, and that's why they wanted to end Game of Thrones so fast. But the funny thing is that they never even got the job to do
Well,
Star Wars.
not only that, they were supposed to direct Star Wars, but they dropped out of that. Like, oh hell no, these guys are toxic. We're not dealing with this.
Yeah, they ended up not getting the Star Wars job. So technically, they ruined Game of Thrones for no reason. Yeah.
be better. My mother and grandson remind me like some helpless stuff.
Oh, you're the king. Who gives a shit what they say?
My brother at least knows his place.
I'm of the mind that it was rushed pacing wise, but the story beats were still right.
Yeah, supposedly the story beats were correct. Those came from George R. Martin himself. They just didn't really execute them very well.
And they were going in a direction that's stepping away from the books, right?
They stepped away from the books around season 5 because that's when they ran out of source material.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm not supposed to be up here.
You sure have the guts to brutally kill a kid like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was pretty much their task. If they couldn't find Aemond, they were to kill the heir. So, I guess because I heard that the next episode was going to be Blood and Cheese, but Blood and Cheese happened in this episode because the killing of the boy—that's Blood and Cheese.
Yeah. So how would you rate this episode from 1 to 10?
It was really good. I give it like a solid 7.5. It was a really good start.
I'm gonna go up a bit further, just give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. Cinder, can you get out of the blinds? Thank you. Sorry, my cat's like bending my blinds. Sin, seriously, get away from the blinds. Come on. But yeah, I mean, it was a solid episode, and so they did verify that Luke is dead.
You guys are tough critics.
I am for sure. I think Scott's a bit more lenient.
I am not a critical person.
But yeah, there was a lot to like in this episode, and it was a strong start. I'm just I was confused because I really thought the next episode was Blood and Cheese, but it happened in this episode.
Well, I like the whole set. I love the visual, love the look of these dragons, and I just love mostly its brutality. That it really has the guts to pull off so much brutality that I probably have never seen in television history.
Yeah.
It was for me, at least.
Yeah. I liked that it did clear up a few things that remained mysteries in the book. Like I have to say, knowing for sure that Lucerys is dead, he didn't survive the fall. Which, I mean, we kind of like already knew that. He fell so far after getting munched on by Vagar, forgetting the dragon's name now. But yeah, I knew for sure that he was dead, but there was always like a small hint in the book that there was a possibility.
Do you guys think Demon told them to kill Ejon's son if they couldn't find?
Yeah, because it's even though the show didn't tell him to do that, I think it was hinting at it just because of the look on Damon's face. But I also do like how this episode did clarify that Rhaenyra was not a part of this. Because that was another thing that was up in the air. The book never told you for sure if Rhaenyra knew about Damon's plan or if she participated in this killing of the heir of Aegon's son. So I think Rhaenyra is going to be very upset when she hears about this, because this is going to make her look very bad.
Interesting.
But yeah, to answer the questions, I think he did.
All right. So, anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
No, not really. Yeah, it cleared up those two questions, and we got Blood and Cheese, which I wasn't expecting to get in this episode, even though this episode is a son for a son. I was pretty sure the next episode was going to be called Blood and Cheese. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for joining Eric Thorpe Reviews, Adrian James, plus more. Wait a minute.
Oh,
I think it's really cool how both book and the show can be common with the series since the book is instantly wrong and missing info parts since it's in a world history book.
yeah. Because the book was written like a history book, and it was told by many different authors, and each author had their own agenda. So the history book it leaves a lot of like information out, and the show is clearing up a lot of that missing information or saying which one is right and which one's wrong. So I like that about the show. I like it a lot.
Okay. I wanted to ask you one question earlier. How did you
Mhm.
find out they were going to adapt Game of Thrones into a television show?
How did I find out? Actually, the funny thing is, I didn't watch Game of Thrones right when it came out. I didn't watch it until they were in season 2. So I missed the entire era of the first season. But I did read the books before. But yeah, when I heard that they were adapting a show, I don't know. I just never watched it until season 2 came out, and then I decided to dive into it because my siblings were starting to watch it.
Uh-huh. I had mentioned this before that I didn't find out about Game of Thrones until after 6 seasons were already aired because I was just watching a YouTube podcast and they mentioned Game of Thrones and I'm like, all right, Game of Thrones, cool. I want to check that out. And yeah, I was able to binge watch all those 6 seasons up to the very final season as well. Um, I was pretty hooked by the time I made it to season 2. Like I said that before too last time we were doing this.
Yeah, the books came out in the 90s, and I would say I started reading the books in high school. So that was a good while before the show started.
Well, as for me about the books, I was too focused on school, and I don't believe I would have gone out of my way to find any way to read any books for myself because I'm a big TV guy. Um, no one around me in person was talking about Game of Thrones, so they didn't know about it. So I had to find out for myself.
Yeah, the books are huge too. Like they can be like this big. Like there's what there's like five, 6 books out now, and they're like massive. They're like this big.
Mhm.
They're huge. Great stories, but they're huge.
Great story.
Yeah, if you are a reader, I do recommend the books,
Uh,
even though the books are not finished.
I see. Still going.
George R. R. Martin is still writing them.
So how much time you dedicate to reading those books?
How much time did I dedicate? Ooh, a while. I would say it probably took me because I didn't read them all back to back. Like I had time in between, but it probably took me about 2 years to read the books that were out at the time, which was right before the latest book that was released that came out a few years back.
I started the books during season 4 and finished them around season 6, so I was always behind the show. Loved them both.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a big reader before, but loved the show that much that I had to, huh?
Yeah,
So you're saying
that's the
that,
same with me.
so
Sometimes I watch something.
you're
But
saying you would watch something first and then go check out the book adaptations.
me, sometimes, yeah, if I end up seeing the book first before I read or seeing the movie first before I read the book, then I'll usually just go read the book afterwards if I like it. But most of the time, I try to read the book before the movie or the show, whatever it is.
Okay, well, we'll wrap this up. All right, then we'll wrap this up. So, reminder everybody, if you guys enjoyed this reaction, give it a thumbs up. Thank you all for stopping by. Be sure to subscribe to Ray's channel, and we will do episode 2 on her channel next time, right?
Yeah, so it'll be Tuesday around the same time next week on my channel. We'll be watching episode 2.
Great. But that is going to be it for today. Thank you guys so much, and we will catch you guys later. Good night.
Okay. Take care. Thank you for watching.